Yo, what's up guys? It's me new with finallyanime.com. Today is my birthday, so obviously that means you're kind of gonna like, comment, and subscribe. No, but if you really do like the content, feel free to do whatever you want. And I apologize for taking so long to do this video. I had finals and I didn't want to rush and make a bad video. So anyways, you can definitely be looking forward to some more. And I plan on making some Borderlands 2 build videos too with Maya and Krieg when he comes out. So anyways, let's get to the lesson. Bucking Bronco. Bucking Bronco, which I'm going to call BB sometimes in the video, is really useful but weird. It stuns more people than Shock Jockey but is less effective. Murder of Crows covers a larger area, but sometimes BB outpaces even that. Bucking Bronco is weird indeed. Now think of Shock Jockey as a sniper of stun vigors, and BB as a shotgun in terms of spread. For the primary fire, the player sends out a wave completely reversing gravity, forcing enemies helplessly into the air. While ineffective against big heavy hitters like the HandyMan or Siren, it works amazingly on the Zealot, firemen, and any other enemies who are obviously normal size. So it can go through some rails and travel across some gaps, but will cease after a certain distance. And additionally, it doesn't work on possessed foes for obvious understandable reasons, and the trap version is super unique because it's one of the few vigors with charge that doesn't cost extra, and it activates sooner than any other trap vigors, so if you find yourself behind a barrier or need pinpoint aiming, use the trap version. Also, it seems the AoE reaches a fairly large circular area at that, and excels in open spaces. Upgrades. The first upgrade, Bucking Bronco mod at $777 at Finkton Docks, allows the ability to chain the floating effect from enemy to enemy, and in the same manner as Shock Jockey, but in a much more forgiving and wide-reaching manner. Bucking Bronco Boost, a relatively cheap $421 at the factory, doubles float time and improves the vigor a great deal, stunning foes longer than Shock Jockey, or even Murder of Crows upgraded. The duration is so long, if caught with an inopportune reload, it most likely won't even matter because the enemy will still be in the air. Tips and tactics. Early in the game you won't have many vigors to choose from, but when coupling Bucking Bronco traps with Devil's Kiss, you can do some serious damage because these two vigors combo really well together. Just be sure to place Devil's Kiss a little closer to the target since Bucking Bronco activates sooner. It's not necessary, but every now and then I notice Bucking Bronco would work, but the DK trap would still be there. For a cheap but effective trap on virtually all opponents, this is a key combination to take note of. Now, you could use Murder of Crows and Devil's Kiss, but when you think about it, it's cheaper just to use BB and DK, then fire off Murder of Crows if you're still having a hard time killing, and you'll use a lot less salts that way. One thing Bucking Bronco has going for it is how it's an easy complement. It doesn't use many salts and usually ends up making your job easier no matter what you're doing. The same goes for Undertow and Charge. If you want to take any non-Handyman / Siren enemy out the picture, all you gotta do is get them near a rail, pop Bucking Bronco, then wash them away with Undertow or send them flying with Charge. And just like the first Vigor Tips video, Elemental Gear, Overkill, and Brittle Skin helps Charge melt anything it touches. And it should be obvious, but use Undertow with multiple targets and Charge with only one. And actually, if you're running short on salts, you can always melee strike an opponent to send them flying away from you as well. It usually works, but sometimes it doesn't move the opponent anywhere, so use caution. And last thing, if your opponent is below 25% health, with BB, any melee hit one-shots them, so don't waste bullets if you don't have to. But if you do have spare bullets or just want to shoot some people in the face, it only takes just a few to shoot an opponent off the stage. Storm, a wonderful piece of gear almost deserving its own video, in short allows chaining without buying the BB mod, or any other Vigor mods for that matter. You do have to kill an affected opponent first, but with a weapon like shotgun or sniper, incapacitating mass amounts of enemies with one use is more than enough. What's more is other Vigors synergize really well with it. Use Bucking Bronco with Shock Jockey or Devil's Kiss, and killing a foe immediately after chains the same effects to nearby opponents, and if you keep the momentum moving, finishing enemies will feel like child's play, especially on 1999 mode. And remember, you can use and introduce other vigors into the mix for even more damage output. For example, using BB plus Shock Jockey, then using Charge with Burning Halo gear makes two combinations at the same time. The same thing happens if you add Murder of Crows. Attacks will keep chaining and chaining until even you lose track. Definitely not a bad thing. Murder of Crows. This time around, it seems Bioshock Infinite eschews the beast plasmid for something just as fantastic, a murder of crows. Now, while most certainly the most expensive Vigor next to an unupgraded possession, when used wisely and upgraded, it can easily be just as life-saving as Return to Sender. So, Murder of Crows, as you suspect, sends out, well, a murder of crows, in a fairly large radius, leaving targets to fend off a murder of crows. And I've always wondered why Bioshock Infinite has essentially had 3 stuns in this, consisting of bucking Bronco, Shock Jockey, and murders crows, which basically end up doing the same thing, but if I could only keep 2, I'd definitely keep MOC. So, using the main version of this Vigor launches, well, a murder of crows, basically disabling any competition in your field of view. Now, be careful though, sometimes murder of crows will miss somewhat obvious targets. Now, I don't understand why this happens or what causes this, but luckily it doesn't happen often. For about 5 seconds, enemies will be stuck in a mess of crows primed for you to attack, dealing double damage. And if upgraded, a kill to a target still being harassed creates a trap in their place. The trap version creates a mine with the same effect for later, but a bit of advice, think twice before deploying a mine as it costs twice as many salts and will deplete your salts really fast. If trying to catch a group of enemies, use bucking Bronco as a trap first, then murder of crows to save salts. Upgrades. The most famous upgrade, Crow's Trap mod 1.5k at Monument Island Gateway, creates a MOC trap after an opponent dies while under the Vigor's effects. Some people swear by its effectiveness, but in my honest opinion, I don't like it, and it rarely works for me since enemies are always just barely out of range. However, with a little encouragement, Undertow and MOC traps will do wonders and keep perpetuating itself. In a closed room, these 2 Vigors dominate incredibly well, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but throwing Shock Jockey into the mix combos well with both. I can only imagine how enemies feel. The second upgrade, Crow's Boost at $545 at the factory, increases stun duration and doubles the window you have to pump lead into your fellow Neo-Columbians. So whether you like MOC or not, if you upgrade and use it, it'll help you more than you expect. Tips and tactics. Murder of Crows operates about the same as bucking Bronco, but instead of tossing foes in the air, you're given a damage increase and a true AoE stun. And again, just like BB, it serves as a great complement to any strategy or being a primary strategy itself. Either way, you win. Murder of Crows combos with a number of Vigors including Charge, Shock Jockey, and Devil's Kiss for a large effect, and get amplified with elemental gear. Though you may already know this by now, Shock Jockey electrifies crows and possessed foes, stunning a bit more, and DK sets them both on fire, dealing double damage. I personally feel Shock Jockey plus Murder of Crows is a bit of a waste, but it does have its uses. And speaking of important uses, when close to death, Return to Sender isn't the only life-saving Vigor. If used swiftly with a decent gun, 2 or 3 enemies threatening your life can be taken out with a sliver of health after crows take flight. So in panic mode, use MOC if you're tired of RTS, or just don't have it yet. And how could I forget the HandyMan? With a peppermill and consistent use of MOC, any HandyMan will be put to rest in no time. And if you don't have the crank gun or just don't like it, every single HandyMan fight has a volley gun, which is the best weapon to use against the HandyMan besides the carbine. At Binks, the volley gun can be found on the roof. At the factory, it's found near the main entrance. The third one has a barrel from a tear. And the fourth right when you enter the area. So take my word for it, HandyMan are not hard. Just use MOC and volley gun and see what I mean. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching the channel and taking the time to check out mine out of everybody else's. It means a lot, and every time you do, I'm incredibly humbled and flattered. So I really do hope you come back if you're new, and if you've been a fan, your continued support means a lot. So make sure you leave a comment and let me know if I helped or I missed something, because for some reason in this video I feel like I missed something, but it also helps me and increases the video's rank so others can see it too. So anyways, enough of that. This concludes the Vigors tips and tricks series, but I am thinking about doing a gun show talking about which guns I like the most and dissecting that before the DLC drops. And of course, I'll be covering the DLC too, so you don't have to worry about that. And I'll be doing an inclusive Vigor /1999 summary tips guide before the DLC drops, you know, just sort of as a crash course and to to fill people in and remind people and catch people up on stuff before DLC drops too. But anyways, I actually just talked to some of the guys at TGN, and now I'm basically a TGN partner. I just have to wait on a couple emails, but it's unofficially official, I guess you could say. And I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of videos you see next week have the new watermark and banner in my new videos and new intro. So believe it or not, I'm planning on doing some major overhauls for this channel and the website, finallyAnime.com. So I have another writer over there, Onri, really good writer. Honestly, I feel like he's a better writer than me, but he just did a review on Star Command, some anime shows, Gargantia, and honestly, go and check that out, guys, if you like anime. I've been slacking on some of the anime reviews. I know a lot of you probably don't even like anime, so you don't have to worry about that, but the channel is called Finally Anime, so I will be covering some of that stuff and covering Shingeki too. So anyways, still gonna be making the same content, but just analyzing what works, what doesn't, how to make better content. That's all. So with that said, friends, until then, happy YouTubing and thanks a lot.